But let's turn attention to our focus tonight, because Speaker Bagbin says he is appalled by the conduct of MPs that led to the early adjournment of voting on Thursday. In a speech, he chastised the MPs for taking undue advantage of their parliamentary privileges, promising decisive action will be taken according to the book. Tonight, the Speaker's actions include the suspension of 4 MPs, including the whips of both the majority and minority caucuses. Let's take a listen to Speaker Kingsford Sumana Bagbin.
The following emergency measures are to be taken with dispatch. 1. The circumstances of the absence of a Privileges and Immunity Committee. In that circumstance, a 7-member special committee shall be constituted under Orders 5 and 20, Rule 4, to conduct a full-scale investigation into the events of yesterday and this morning. The committee shall identify all members involved in the disorder and submit its report with findings and recommendations within 10 days from today. Any member found culpable shall face the appropriate disciplinary actions as prescribed by the Constitution 1992, the Parliament Act of 1965, and the Standing Orders of Parliament. This does not absolve the chairman of the Appointments Committee from performing his duty under Order 268, Rule 3. Pursuant of Section 10 of the Parliamentary Service Act 1993, Act 460, I direct the Clerk to Parliament to cause to be undertaken a full assessment.
In a moment, we'll have a conversation with political analyst Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otre. But before then, let me show you the MPs who have been given an early vacation from Parliament for the next 2 weeks. We know of the Honourable Member of Parliament, Roxanne Nelson Dapiamakbo, the MP for South Dai, Frank Anodompre, MP for Nsawama Jury constituency, who is the minority chief whip. Roxanne Nelson Dapiamakbo is the majority chief whip. And then Hassan Suleimana Tampole Gushegu MP and Jerry Ahmed Shaib, who's second deputy minority whip. Let's have that quick chat with political analyst Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otre. Doc, I appreciate you staying awake for us, but quickly let's get into it. We've seen what has happened since last night up until today, the actions the Speaker has taken, the apologies from the Appointments Committee, and then the turnaround to boycott the rest of the vetting process today by the minority. What readings have you been making into this?
Well, let me say good evening to your viewers and to your good self, Kamini. The point is that we need to appreciate the fact that there was the need for the Speaker. For some of us, we called on him to act. And this action that is taken is not supposed to be restricted to this particular incident. I think that if by now he's not set up or he's not had an idea of setting up another committee to investigate that which happened or transpired on the 8th or 7th to 8th of January 2021. If that has not happened, then I think that there is something missing along the line. It is important to appreciate the fact that the speaker has a wide function and wide authority and wide power, and he just exercised one. It is just unfortunate that having somebody, a fine gentleman like Mr. Afenyo, who has been holding in check the minority leader, as far as his functions are concerned, will be part of this particular suspended MPs. But that is what it should be, because there was a need to send the right signal to all and sundry in the country as well as those abroad. Because if the speaker, had looked on and then idle about, I think that probably people have said certain things untoward about him.
I see.
Would it? Yeah.
Right. And then prior to proceedings today, the chairman of the committee apologized to, the speaker, apologized to the audiences that were there when the incident took place, and by extension, members of the public. What did you make of that apology?
Well, as of yesterday, I was among the earliest who chanted that particular slogan, that there was the need for the committee to apologize profusely, or that they were supposed to have done what we call unqualified apology. And I think that the chairman took upon himself that particular responsibility. Well, in actual fact, we all know exactly where it came from. I think we can look at a situation where there is that corporate responsibility, both from the majority and both from the minority as well.
I see. And then, once they had given that apology in unison, we saw the minority address a news conference attempting to apportion blame as to who was responsible for what. They talked about the majority in a position to absolve itself from what took place there yesterday, but they also pointed a particularly keen finger at the clerk who administered or was in charge of administering the process on Thursday. Was that necessary?
Well, I think that did not even start today. Honorable Afenyo, he's made it a point that they are going after her, and I think it is quite unfortunate. I mean, you cannot appropriate and reprobate. There is no way you can hold the majority responsible for the chaos yesterday without holding the minority equally responsible. It doesn't make any sense that an individual can ask, questions limitlessly, of a nominee for more than 3 hours. It just doesn't make sense. Now, haven't gone that path, and the majority is trying to bulldoze their way through. They are saying no. So the point is that there was supposed to be that kind of management, and of which the chairman, pre-vetting, meeting management, I don't know the kinds of things that they said over there, because there is no way you can allow the minority to go on such, an unrestrained spree. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense at all. But the other part, there is a thin line between you cracking the whip that will affect the minority, and then the other line is that, look, you guys have certain things to hide. The nominees are not too qualified, and that's the more reason why you are shielding them. So that dichotomy is something that the chairman, has been avoiding, for which reason he's gotten the flack of the media and those within the party, suggesting to the effect that he's weak. I don't think he is. I think that he's been quite straightforward. He's been quite magnanimous. It is just that when he begins to crack the whip by using the parliamentary, rules and regulations and standing orders, then obviously the minority will be skewed, the minority will be pinned to the wall. And it is quite strange, and I think that's the latter part of the interview, quite strange that the minority will hear that the speaker himself has asked the select committee, as it were, to reconstitute this particular, committee, the vetting committee, without the majority leader, who could easily walk to the speaker and ask, is this what you mean? Do you mean this or that? And the speaker could easily say, I mean this. Go out there and implement that. And so some of us felt that, look, perhaps those who were coming after Mr. Blackwell were not those that they are targeted. And that's the more reason why they easily left, for political reasons. But of course, they want to score the political point. And that is exactly what they did.
Indeed, Doc, I appreciate you talking to us. We are out of time, but thank you so much for staying awake to speak to us on the subject matter. More on this conversation tomorrow at 7 a.m. Alfredo Kanse will be here with his panelists for key points. On Sunday at 2 p.m., I'll be here with hot issues on the same subject matter, as well as we delve deeper one-on-one with leadership of Parliament. But listen, I want to take you through those measures the Speaker has taken so far. Remember, I told you that outside of the suspension of the 4 MPs, he's also taken a string of measures. He's given a string of orders, as far as the subject is concerned. Let's take a look at it real quick. A 7-member committee will investigate and submit findings within 10 days. Clerk to Parliament to assess damages, and MPs responsible will bear all costs. Clerk to Parliament directed to file a complaint with the Ghana Police Service. Remember, that's where the Speaker says you cannot take undue advantage of your parliamentary privileges. He also has orders that the Committee of Selection to restructure the committee and revise rules for nominee assessments. This particular point in that order, or the string of orders, was a reason for the debate over whether or not the Speaker had asked for a reconstitution of the Appointments Committee to replace those who had been suspended from Parliament. And as you well know, 4 of them in total have an early vacation, 2 weeks, due to their roles in the altercation that took place. Anyway, remember, I'm telling you, and I'll say again, that 2 p.m. Sunday, hot issues will